last 8 weeks, guys. 8 weeks and I'm back on the pod. Let's just tell you that my support network, who is very close to me right now, have come to me and said, hey, look, Dani, this news is not going to make it to February. You have to get on the mic and you've got to share it. It's more a therapeutic situation because I've been through something in the last 8 weeks that I want to share today. But also, this is my podcast and I do what I damn well please. Let's be honest. So I hope you've all been well, and I hope that, in the past 8 weeks, you've just sort of been sitting there wondering, well, what next? I'll tell you what's happened in these 8 weeks, because it is out the gate. Out the gate. Your girl has been living her best life and can't even tell you what's been going on. I'm so excited to share it, to be honest. It's funny to think that 8 weeks worth of shit wouldn't even make it to February either. So you've got my support network to thank there, because they were like, you got to do it, Dani. Here we are. Anyway, I will start this podcast out with something that obviously I want to get off my chest. I've had a traumatic injury in the last 2 weeks, and I will get to that shortly. But first of all, guess what, you guys? I brought a house and land package with my family. Me and my brother went halvesies in something. I was actually sitting in Christchurch in my dream vehicle, which was a Jaguar, with my mum in the passenger seat at a dealership, and mum turns to me and says, you could buy the car, Dani, or you could invest with your brother into something that in time you'll get back. And I was like, oh, shit. The devil on my shoulder was saying, buy the Jag. The angel on the shoulder was saying, invest the Jag money into property. You'll get it back. It's a huge life-changing moment for me, obviously. I never intended on owning assets. Never. I've always said it. It'll be so exciting to own a bar, have a bit of something that I can call my own. Never did I think it would happen, and certainly not in 2024. So obviously that was a big deal for me. We came back from Christchurch, we signed on the dotted line, moving into the first week of October when all this went down. And I tell you what, it happened very, very fast. It was a case of, we had an idea when I was in Hawaii. We were offered a piece of land, and then all of a sudden it took off and the idea stuck, and I don't even know what happened, but I had an opportunity and I took it. So me and my brother are going to build. We have the plans. It is very exciting. Obviously, I get to have a say this time round. But when we obtain the keys, potentially in June, we have an option to move into this piece of house and live in it, or we could flick it, make some money, and then my brother goes on to do something amazing, and that would be his forever home with whatever he wants to do. And I come out with it with my investment plus some. And ideally, in my brain, I'm thinking 150 days on a cruise from Sydney to London, back through via Florida, South America, Mexico, Honolulu, Sydney, Auckland. That is my dream cruise, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm not even lying, you guys. That's going to happen. But honestly, that's where I see my investment, which is crazy because honestly, I thought I was actually going to end up with this Jag. I was laughing about it. I was like, what's a 37-year-old female going to do with a Jaguar? I mean, do I look like someone that's having like a midlife crisis? I don't even know. So what a crazy turn of events it has been for us as a family. I'm one of those people where I obviously flip my marbles a few times as to what I want to do with my life, and I've never had a plan. I just breeze through, and it seems to work for me. I don't really worry about the weird stuff. So the fact that I gave my brother this money in order to get the deposit and start this whole process, I mean, there's a fair bit of trust. I can't even believe the bank gave us the amount of money that they did, and I just sat there thinking, holy shit. So I am paying a mortgage on a piece of dirt at the moment, but we are starting to build, and it is very exciting. The day that it actually happened, my mum got on the plane to Melbourne for 10 days and went to a wedding with her friends. And I was just standing there on this piece of dirt with my brother like, okay, what next? But anyway, it's been a real eye-opener. We've had a lot of exciting moments, obviously choosing how we want the house to be. And it's one of those things that we're not going to keep it forever. So obviously you don't try and get attached to it, but it is bloody exciting. So that is a big piece of news number one. I have now got my hands on some property. We then move into obviously the first week of October. We had a Bathurst party at my house. It was very exciting. I had a friend turn up, however, with pot cookies. And your girl doesn't eat marijuana. That's not me. Why am I doing this? I actually walked around this party with this pot cookie in my hand for 30 minutes before I even thought about consuming it. I was living my best life with these drinks that I was making. I'm one of those people, you guys, who loves to just chill with a glass of wine. I will drink cocktails, I'll have a glass of wine, I'll get on the beers with the boys. Never in my wildest dreams have I thought about having drugs of any sort, let alone in food. So I had this pot cookie and it was crazy. I actually just got the giggles. There was nothing negative about the whole experience. I just started laughing, and me and my friends, it was the most supported sort of environment, just sitting there watching cars going around this track at Bathurst. It was, hands down, the most boring race ever, but I feel like everything was funny because of this damn cookie. So 10 out of 10 on that aspect. My mum, she had a significant birthday in October. She turned 60. So we got to have all of her friends down for that and have a big, obviously, charade with parties and everything, it's always fun to obviously look after someone, especially my mum, because she never asks for anything. So obviously I was spoiling her rotten. And so that was a really great time. And then Halloween rolled around, and Halloween 2024 was rent-free in my head. We got on it at the house and I had just the best time. There was random people that have come back into my life after many years of being away. There's friends that I've made this year that were meeting one another. There was blood bags and syringes full of alcohol. It was like hands down my favorite party of 2024. And I don't know if I've said that about anything I've done this year, but Halloween, I still think I have chest pain thinking about that day. It was the best, and I ended up with a male companion that night who stayed at the house, and it was 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, especially because I had this real crazy face makeup. And one thing I'm really attentive with is the gentleness of a person. And I'm literally sitting at the kitchen table talking with all my girlfriends, and he comes up to me with this tissue paper that's a little bit wet, and he wipes this black shit off my mouth. And I was like, what is happening? What is he doing? And he took it off, and then he leant in to kiss me, and I just thought, oh my God. Here it goes. I am taking home the goblin. He was bloody beautiful. He still is. We're very dear friends. And then, lo and behold, we come into November, and we're in the first week of November. This is where the traumatic injury happens. I am outside. Here we go. Oh, I don't even want to tell this story now that we're here. It's such, I think I have PTSD. At the thought of hearing a noise of an outdoor piece of equipment, my heart rate goes up, you guys. Cannot cope. Cannot cope. I decided to do some yard work for Mum while she was at work, and I didn't know that she'd put down some weed and feed fertilizer on the grass, and apparently you're supposed to let it wait 7 days before you mow the lawns. So I was outside with the line trimmer, and whenever I use the line trimmer, I'm always overly cautious at the fact that the line could actually come off, and obviously it's a line trimmer on a cord, that the line could electrocute me if it was to hit the cord. So I'm obviously very cautious already about that. That was fine. That thing makes a hell of a noise anyway. I hate that piece of equipment. I put it away. I was then outside with my gumboots on with the lawnmower, and I was just mowing the lawns, minding my own business, and I thought, oh, the lawnmower feels a bit heavy. So I went to open the grass catcher, and I went to pull some of the grass forward into the catcher thing, because I don't mow the lawns enough to know how much grass is meant to be in that stupid catcher anyway. The lawnmower blade caught my finger. And let me tell you, when I went into shock, I have absolutely blacked out. Like, I don't even remember what happened next. I'm sort of piecing it together after, obviously, I myself have been through this. But that blade that grabbed my finger and ripped it off, I feel like I still see it. And I probably will for the rest of my life. I just went and grabbed my finger and turned the lawnmower off. I was in shock. My heart rate is racing right now, even telling this. Like, ugh, it's disgusting. I ran inside. I ran into my bedroom. I grabbed my phone. I was in the bathroom. I'm holding my hand over the sink and I'm trying to dial the numbers. It's something that happens that your whole body just can't cope. I was seeing stars. I couldn't see the phone. I couldn't see the numbers. I used my better hand, which is not the dominant hand where I lost a finger, to hold down my emergency contact button on my iPhone so that it would just automatically ring my mum. I rang her 3 times and it just so happened it was about lunchtime at her work, so she wasn't near her phone. So I reached out to my dear friend that worked nearby to her work, and I said, can you go and get mum? I've cut my finger off with the lawnmower. I need her to get her phone. She was already like about to hightail it out of work to go and get my mum and get her to help me. So with all this happening, mum calls back and I was like, okay, she's calling back. You're all good. I've got to go. I'm seeing stars. So mum rings and I answered it and I just said, mum, I've had an accident. And she was like, what is it? How bad is it? And I said, I've cut my finger off with the lawnmower. I don't know what to do. And she came home so fast. Before she left work, though, she said to me, how bad is it? And I said to her, it's not that bad. It's okay. This is my example for you guys. Have you seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street? When Leonardo DiCaprio drives the car back from the party when he's off chops on alcohol and drugs and he thinks he's got the car home safely and it's in pieces. That is exactly what had happened to my finger. I'm on blood thinners. That's not a lie. I will tell that to you guys truthfully. I ran from the lawn to the bathroom and the trail that I left, Mum comes running in the house and she was like, are you fucking joking, Danielle? It is a crime scene. And I'm like standing there, it's all happening. I have no idea what to do. She runs into the freezer, grabs a whole stack of ice, throws my finger in the ice and attaches it to my hand and just wraps me in a tea towel. And I get in the car. I rang my boss. Out of pure sheer panic. And I just said to her, holy shit, I've cut my finger off. I'm going to the hospital. I might be some time. Mum grabs my phone and thinks it's the hospital. And she was like, do we take her to Dunstan or do we take her to Queenstown? And it was my boss. My boss was like, I don't even know. I have no idea. Like, this is a chickie that's up in Auckland. She wouldn't have any idea. So I dove in the car and weirdly enough, I was in this weird sort of trance where nothing mattered and I just sat there frozen. There was no words. I couldn't cry. I didn't know if it was the ice melting or the blood was just dripping. I was just sitting there like, are you fucking joking me? I have to go through the gorge for 20, 30, 40 minutes with a hand like this. Like, I look back now and I just think, you fucking lunatic. Like, how is it this bad that you got yourself into this? So we get through the Nevis, and if you guys are familiar with Cromwell to Queenstown, there's this area of the Nevis Bluff, which annoyingly enough, sometimes they do roadworks, and we had to stop at the traffic. Well, Mum dove out of the car, runs flying down to the traffic management and says, my daughter's bleeding out. She's chopped her finger off with a lawnmower. Can you let us through? So I'm sitting in the car, video calling my best mate, like, if there's one thing that your grandparents tell you not to do, what is it? And he is honestly looking at me thinking, are you in a cop car? Like, where are you? Why does this look funny? And I was like, I've cut my finger off. I'm bawling my eyes out. My hand's in a tea towel. Like, what more can I say, you know? So we get through to Queenstown. And we called the hospital ahead to say, hey, look, we've got a traumatic injury coming in. Can you be prepared? And they just took it in their strides like it was no biggie. I'll tell you why. Is because 3 hours prior, it was lawnmower day and some guy lost 4 fingers and had to be airlifted to Dunedin Hospital. So I was nothing. I lost one. They were like peaceful and everything was fine. I get through and they give me the laughing gas. And when I tell you I'm not one of those people that knows how to work those contraptions, I just sat there huffing on this thing. I didn't know if it was working, and then it was working too much. I got the spins. It was horrible. So I spent 5 hours in the hospital where they tied my finger up with a balloon just to have a blocker on it to stop it bleeding so that they could assess it, basically. And I'm sitting there, like everyone's ringing. I've got an IV line in my other arm that's burst because I kept touching my phone, and it just, nothing was working, you guys. Like, I was a mess. And then they decide to give me antibiotics through the IV, and I'm thinking, okay, that's fine, you can do that. He then goes and puts the tetanus in my shoulder. I fainted, flat out, just fainted. Body went into actual adrenaline shock. It was just too much. I don't know what happened. I just passed out. And I don't even know how long for. Mum said, it was quite crazy watching you. You were with us, you were talking, and then you just flatlined and just lay back. So the body does absolutely crazy things in traumatic situations, that's for sure. So I don't know. It's just something that, like, obviously I am a clumsy baby giraffe, and I will tell you that till I'm blue in the face. But honestly, that night when we came back from Queenstown Hospital, knowing we had to drive through to Dunedin to have this surgically reattached the next morning, was probably the most frightening 12 hours of my life, because they wanted me to sleep and they'd given me morphine and obviously to drift off and sleep. But I had to sleep with my hand in the ear, upright, parallel, because they were scared that I was going to bleed through the bandage. And I tell you, I probably woke up every hour on the hour ready to have to run to Mum to get her to tape the thing back up again, because we were actually scared that something was going to happen. Like, you just could not stop what was going on. I'm not going to go into gruesome details because people are probably going to get queasy, but this is the reality of it. When you're on blood thinners, nothing stops. So the next morning I took the other half of this morphine tablet and Mum drove through to Dunedin. I was scared shitless. I hate surgery at the best of times. I've already done my knee this year. I told you all on the podcast many, many times, I'm digging my heels in this year, guys. If something doesn't feel right and I don't want to do it, I simply won't. So the fact that I had to do surgery again and go through this world of pain, I was crying just all the time. Like, for 12 hours, I was just crying. I was like, this is not happening. So we get down to Dunedin and I meet my surgeon, and she is this boho hippie chick who's just the friendliest wee thing. She's absolutely beautiful. And she says to me, we're just waiting for the theatre to get all done up. Are you ready? And I was thinking, no, but I'm going to put on a brave face. I don't even care, whatever, you know. So they wheel me into Theatre 7. And if you guys have ever had surgery in Dunedin, I thoroughly recommend requesting Theatre number 7. Write it down. That theatre has harbour views of Dunedin, and this is where it gets wild. You're not going to believe it. I was awake for the whole surgery, sitting up, talking about Jason Momoa, Aquaman, and I was on fentanyl up the veins. I was just happy. I was talking. My hand itself was in a tent, so I didn't see what they were doing, but I was just holding coherent conversations. Well, let's be honest. I felt like they were coherent. They probably weren't. And the team of doctors, there was probably 13 of them, were just like the nicest people. And the anaesthetic guy who wheeled me back into recovery was just like, he didn't want to say goodbye. He was just like, you were so upset when you first came in, Dani. You were traumatized. You just didn't want it to go ahead, but you just did so well. And I was like, it's mind over matter, you know? Yes, it's an accident. Yes, it happened. I'm not proud of it. But you've got to put one foot in front of the other and just be like, get on with it. I think the worst part about surgery is how many times they repeat themselves. They actually drew an arrow on my finger to show where the finger had to be reattached. Like, it wasn't that obvious or something. And I'm just sitting there like, are they crazy? Like, what is going on? But no sooner had I been wheeled back into recovery and had a ham and cheese sandwich and a cup of tea, I was discharged probably like half hour to an hour after surgery. I don't know if it was the drugs or whatever, but I toddled on out of Dunedin Hospital, went to the Meridian Mall and got my hair washed and blow dried in a hair salon. And the girls there could not believe that I just had surgery 30 minutes prior, and they were scared they were going to bang my hand. My hand was in this big mitten thing. And I just wanted to feel better. So obviously I just wanted to get my hair done. The worst part about it, and you guys will know this, is that Thursday is maintenance day. So my hair was due to be washed the day that this all happened. But it was, I don't know, a surreal 360 moment, because not only did I get to get my hair done, I got to go shopping and get some retail therapy. Plus, there was a Chemist Warehouse, so all the prescription medication that I picked up, which was about 8 boxes of the stuff, was free. Which, in hindsight to what you get charged here in Cromwell for medication, I was a happy girl. And I don't know, to this day, like, there's still half of it because I just don't take anything. I'm just like one of those chicks that's like, I'm pushing on. I really shouldn't be. So here we are, probably like 2 weeks later. And also I should probably add that we drove back to Cromwell that same night after surgery, so we didn't stay in Dunedin. And then, 2 weeks on, I'm about to go into a appointment at 2:30. It's currently 1:30. And they are going to remove my non-dissolvable stitches, which the paperwork says that they are dissolvable, but everyone says that, these things just don't dissolve these days. I'm dreading it. I'm not going to lie. I really hate pain, and they told me to take pain relief, but in my brain I'm thinking it's Friday afternoon. I don't want to take pain relief because I want to go and have a couple of glasses of wine with my friends after this ordeal. But the finger is taken to the hand. There's colour, there's sensations, everything's all coming back to normal. It's just I'm missing a fingernail, and there's this disgusting, great big gaping stitches looking thing because it had to be reattached. And my mum has been really great the whole way through. Obviously, she wants to make sure that the finger is reattached. And I said to her, look, at the end of the day, if I lost the finger because of this, it's just cosmetic. It's just cosmetic. Yes, it's shit. No one wants to lose a limb or a finger, but it doesn't define me as a person. It would be annoying because I like to wear jewelry, and I'm like, well, where's my left index finger? But I'm still here, and that's the main thing. So I suppose why I wanted to come on this and just talk it out with everyone is that I have had a few people, I mean, you all miss me. I'm not going to say that I've been like quiet for the past 8 weeks. A lot of weird shit's happened. But this is kind of significant and it's traumatic, and everyone just was so supportive and saying, get back behind the mic, tell people what's happened, put it out there, because honestly, this year alone, I think I've shared like 10% of actually what's going on in my life, and it's been drips and drabs. For the obvious reason, there has been a lot of trauma last year where I was oversharing a bit too much and people just hated it. And I was like, if I can't be unapologetically me and share what I truly, what excites me and what makes me happy, then what the hell? Who am I being honest to? Because it's not myself. But looking back, like last year to this year, and just the actual 360 that I've done emotion-wise and personality and behavior, totally different person, 100% a different person. I'm back to my old 2019 Dani, who was just a bat out of hell, I'm still going to house parties, and you know what? The worst thing is I'm getting worse. I'm staying out till 7, 8, and 9 in the morning now. I've just made these great friends that they support everything that I do. Everyone's so much fun. All of a sudden the sun's coming up and I'm doing a mercy dash from a house party in Cromwell to my house. This is the best time of my life. The best time. I've been on over 20 dates. I have just had so much to smile about, and I could not be more thankful and grateful that anything that had happened last year happened, because it showed me that I need to pull my socks up, be the best version of myself, and be open to weird shit. Not losing a finger, but these are the choices that I've been making in the last 8 weeks, and it's pretty fucking weird, honestly. Would I have brought the Jag first year of the podcast? 100%. I didn't care about money. I was like, I'm going to buy a nice car. Second year of the pod, and I'm like, maybe I should invest that. And I was only talking to Mum about it the other day. I just thought, wow, actually, what am I doing? And she says, I don't know. You change your mind every hour and I just can't keep up. And that's probably what's really great about me as a person. And I think you could all like learn something from, is that I don't have any sort of straight, narrow mindset. I'm all over the place because I'm open to change. And it's weird because if something changes at work, I'm like, nope, I don't like it. No, I'm kidding. I am just one of those girls that everything happens for a reason. And I'm going to end this pod today telling you got to trust the timing of your life, because do you know what the weirdest thing about this whole losing the finger thing is? I have had 3 guys come to the house in the 2 weeks that this has happened to cook me dinners and breakfasts. I've had 6 bouquets of flowers, chocolates. I've had 12 bottles of wine turn up. I have had the most love and respect and pure shock ever from this situation. I think it's actually brought me a lot closer to a lot of people, that I'm not invincible. I have a lot of stuff on my mind and I'm going through some really weird times, but I'm embracing everything and I'm so happy and healthy. It's just not even a big deal. And I think obviously I just wanted to pop on here and inform you all. Obviously I haven't put anything on the podcast Instagram page because I did wonder if I'd do this podcast today. I'm not going to lie. But sometimes these things need to be said. And on that note, I will leave you be. And maybe I might just spontaneously throw out another bonus episode if something else happens. I mean, we are still manifesting our husband in 2024. And, you know, it's all sort of happening. So anyway, take care. And I will talk to you all again soon. Bye for now.